So, we've got 8 games for the 8-bit Atari 7800. So I thought that would be a nice thing. Now, obviously, you've probably already seen the video I made. Live testing, I believe I called it, of the Atari 7800s. Now, I knew I had 2, but it turns out I had 3, which is a bit of a stroke of luck. Because the one that I bought most recently, which is about 5 years ago on eBay, which was sold to me as working, that actually only displays in black and white at the moment. So I had to go and find the other one on the off chance that that would work, and there was 2 in the box. Now obviously this is not news to anyone. And if it is a spoiler, well, you should have watched the part 1 first, didn't it? Would you expect, mate, if you're the kind of person who reads the last chapter after the first chapter? Well, you know. But anyway, it's summer, and Atari is all about summer. You got your shorts on, your t-shirt on, your Nike trainers on, you got your Jim Carrey style side parted hair. Real Coca-Cola, no sweeteners in this. Might not taste exactly the same as it did in the mid-80s, but and plenty of ice. Now these are essentials for Atari. Optional extras include crisps, sweets, cakes and biscuits. Here are the ice cubes. There you go, mate. Good old ice cubes. We'll leave the thermos open there. So I have got more than 7 cartridges for my Atari, but you know, I don't know where they all are. It's been 5 years since all my stuff's been packed up since I moved, and it hasn't been unpacked yet. So I had the strange idea to buy a beautiful house that needed way too much work. So, you know, there is that slight issue going on there. So, oh, is that a pound coin? That could come in handy a bit later. That one doesn't work. Now of course, I never used to smoke when I had an Atari 2600. I couldn't tell you when I bought an Atari 7800, but I think it was sometime in the early to mid 90s. Now obviously, again, if you've seen the first video, you'll know that I'm not using the Atari joypads, unless you actually need both fire buttons. There's no point. They're terrible. It's not a disgraceful thing to say, they are terrible. So let's play a bit of Asteroids. Better than Blasteroids on the Amstrad and the C64. So this is a built-in game, and they've chosen to have realistic planets rather than wireframes. This actually plays really nicely. Might need one of the, oh, that's hyperspace. So you just push back on the joystick for hyperspace. So I'm not really sure what the second button does on the joypads, but one thing I always noticed about the 7800 is the interference on the picture. I don't know if the camera will pick that up. Ooh! Game over already. That's quite brutal actually. So, right, that's quite an interesting one. Now, it says copyright 1989, Atari Corporation, so I don't know what that's going on about really. I'm sure the Atari 7800 was much before 1989, so really that's quite strange. I don't know if putting the brightness up a bit will help, or if the interference patterns will make it worse. Sorry about my camera. It's a very good digital stills camera, which just happens to record movies. Not very well off a CRT TV. I am playing this on real hardware, obviously. Again, if you've seen part 1 of the video. So let's have a bit of real Coca-Cola, and let's have a little think about Asteroids. Now that's not bad, that plays really good. You know, from the screenshots you probably think, no, why didn't they just do the wireframes, blah blah blah. But you have to remember, in you know, in this sort of era, you know, the mid-80s, people weren't exactly big on retro. I mean, if you could fast forward and play Star Wars on the Sega 32X instead of a perfect port of the arcade, in the mid-80s people would have done it. Now the mid-80s are famous for having yeah, not very good style decisions, I suppose. Very very tacky era, the mid to late 80s, as I'm sure you remember from the cars and the costumes in Miami Vice. But no, the most important thing is the game is running rock solid, so all the planetoids and asteroids, you know, they're rotating smoothly. So the update there is fine. There's plenty of colours going on too. And the graphics are fine actually. Maybe they're a bit small, you know, on asteroids. The largest things are like 3-4 times bigger, I suppose. Ooh. Now, I used to play asteroids in Peter's Kebab House. Used to have the real arcade machine, and so you know, I've definitely played the real machine. I still remember playing that, so this is absolutely fine, I suppose. It is different, yes. It's a bit like you've taken 4 shots at the 2 biggest asteroids at the start of the arcade level, so, you know, but that doesn't really affect the gameplay. Yeah, visuals are certainly nice enough for an update. They're not really any different to the graphics on Megaroids. They're certainly more colourful, so, you know. Now, I've always been a bit nuts about retro gear because I was buying, 8-bit games on cassette in the early to mid 90s after, losing all my stuff. And I did actually buy 7800 around the time I bought a Sega Saturn, a Japanese Sega Saturn, so there's a real mix of stuff in my house. Now, I wanted a 7800 and I wanted to be able to play Virtua Fighter 2, so I'm not really against modern games as such. But I've always liked 8-bit stuff, so it's probably because I had an Atari 2600, in 1980. That was a big thing for me. I had to save up about 7 months worth of pocket money and add some Christmas and birthday money, and then finally we had enough to go down to Argos and get the Atari 2600. What a day! What a day that was. That Argos doesn't exist anymore, sadly. We would have gone down there in my dad's little grey Citroen. It's like the 5-door hatchback family car one, not the really small one. Can't remember what they're called, honestly can't. Citroen GS, something like that. But that was a great day. But in 1980, the VCS was actually quite a pioneering thing. But it came with Combat. Now, Combat is a 2-player only game, and no one in my family ever played computer games with me. And the day I got my Atari 2600, my best friend, who lived up the road, had to go visit some of his family, so he didn't get to try it out until the Sunday. He must have come around Sunday afternoon. So yeah, but Asteroids is a 1-player game. I guess you can have a 2-player game as well, but Combat doesn't work as a 1-player game. So, but then again, by the time this thing was actually in the shops, there were quite a few options. There was various home computers. You had the Spectrum, Amstrad, MSX, Atari 800 XL, which was stock cleared from the warehouse as they eventually went down to under £100, which was a hell of a price for something that plays Rescue on Fractalus as well as it does on the Atari. So, but I think this is not bad. So where the hell did I put Gallagher? Gallagher is not in the box now. This is not. Here we go. Here's Gallagher. Now, I'd already selected Gallagher as the second game, simply because it's it's similar to Galaxian, and Galaxian and Asteroids were kind of side by side in your local takeaway, if you were lucky enough to have them in your local takeaway. Played Phoenix in Peter's Kebab House and in the Silver Bream Fish and Chip Shop. Played many games I remember from there. Hunchback, Scramble, Popeye. I don't know if Popeye is actually out for the 7800, but 7800, it's something that Atari Warner held back. They wanted to squeeze out every last penny of the VCS, and then oops, they broke the video gaming market in America. Nowhere else, just in America. So yeah, this is copyright 1984, so there was a wealth of computers, but I can only think of two that had hardware smooth scrolling, and that would be the Atari and the Commodore 64. So, and both the Atari and the Commodore 64 only have 8 sprites per scan line, I suppose, if you want to be like that, but not all the programmers did it that way, which is how they should have. Every 8-bit game should have been written like the best VCS games. They should have been racing the beam. That's perfectly possible to, you know, a significant extent on the Commodore 64 and the Atari, you know, 400, 800. So let's give Gallagher a bit of a go then. Yeah, it plays great actually, I must admit. Now I prefer Galaxian to Gallagher, but I suppose if you just dodge them and let them fill up the screen, it does become like Galaxian. You're always going to have a problem that the screen height is completely different between an arcade machine which uses a monitor turned 90 degrees on its side and a TV at home. It's very smooth. Nah, I don't want the extra guys, that don't really help me. Ooh. Very tricky. I'm not very good at Gallagher, I have to say. Oh, that sounds really nice actually. Very nice echo effect. So I must admit I'm doing quite well, so I don't know if there's like more difficulty levels. I was too eager to get playing, you see, so I just pressed the fire button. actually keep your finger on the fire button, but it didn't help me much there. It's best to set your shots up like this and then keep your finger on the fire button, I reckon. Well, I think we just got an extra life, so be great if there was a pause button like the 5200, but I'll just carry on playing and then I'll give you my thoughts a bit later. Alright, there we go, a bit of a safe area there, so yeah, see what I mean? Sometimes it's better to fire yourself. Yeah, I'm not very good at this bit. Yeah, I really like that. Bit more cola. Hopefully it's even colder this time. There we go. Oh no. I'm sure that happened a lot in the 80s. Losing a life because you're getting some cola in you. Ooh, I think their aim improves as the levels go up. I believe we're on level 9. Which is funny because level 9 only did adventure games famously. It had to happen eventually. Dying for a bit of cola anyway. Yeah, my shot accuracy is terrible, but I haven't played this game, I would say, for a quarter of a century. On the Atari 7800 I'm talking. That's the thing, I kind of just bought stuff and hoarded it, and I might have used it for a year, but then eventually it has to go up in the loft to make room for whatever else I'm buying. Didn't own a house yet at that point, so of course once I owned a house and you know, the mortgage was under control, we pretty much let rip with eBay in the late 90s and onwards. But I stopped buying retro stuff about more than half a decade ago. I think seriously over a decade ago. I mean, I might have bought the odd thing now and again. And in the last 10 to 5 years, I just bought back stuff that, I had to sell. We all have bills to pay sometimes, so I had to sell my Atari XC11 tape deck. So I had to buy one back 10 years later when I retired. It's all about the mortgage, as my parents drummed into me. And they were absolutely right. Listen to all that ice. So, now it's interesting because we play 2 games now. And admittedly they're, they're like early arcade games. But what I thought would be a problem, the fact that the 7800 has the same sound generating facilities as the 2600, I thought that would really put me off, but no, so far that hasn't been an issue at all. And I must admit, I was in 2 minds whether to go to all the effort that would need to happen for me to be able to play on a real 7800, and remembering that I'm not going to be buying anything new from eBay. It's just too late now, really. If you're the kind of person who needs a complete collection of something, you're kind of limited now. 7800 cartridges, if you want them in the box and everything, it's not an easy task. Don't envy anyone with that one now. I do have more Atari cartridges, but these are the only boxed ones I have, and I haven't found the others yet. But both have played fine so far. So yeah, I must admit I'm pleasantly surprised. Now, obviously, in the video editor, I'll put in the the covers, just so you can tell. It's quite a nice cover on this one. Must admit, I do like that. Let's try Donkey Kong. Now, I got a ColecoVision around the time the Atari 7800 came out, but that's only because the local bric-a-brac sort of shop that also sold toilet bleach and sponges for your dishes and all kinds of stuff, really. Mops, brooms, clothes pegs, ColecoVisions, turbo expansion modules. Seemed to be a thing because I think another point, it was a different system. I never saw the Coleco Adam in there. But my ColecoVision was 50 quid, and obviously we got Donkey Kong with that. So we can change the options with just the joystick. So great stuff. We can play Asteroids Galaga and Donkey Kong with a regular joystick. All the ladders are a bit tricky to hook up on, must admit. There, you probably don't want to go that high up. Oh, this could be a problem. Oh no! Slightly wider than the gap. doing well there until that point. Oh no, I got stuck on the ladder there. I knew that'd come back and bite me in the arse. Oh well. I was expecting him to go down like last time. See, that's very interesting. Again, I'm not sitting here thinking sound is terrible. Sound is like an Atari VCS, which is what most people seem to go on and on about when they talk about the 70s. It's a terrible system. The sound is horrible. I can't say I've seen a problem there. So again, we've got 1988 there. So that's very interesting. Plays absolutely fine. There's a slight issue with the hooking up on the ladders for me. Maybe you get used to that. So I think the problem when people review these kind of things nowadays is they're kind of looking at them with the knowledge they have now. You kind of have to forget everything about what is possible with, you know, homebrews, because there is, I believe there's a version of Donkey Kong for the 7800 with a pokey sound chip, so you have to buy a Ball Blazer cartridge and change the ROM. And I think it adds in the extra level. I'm not 100% sure on the extra level, but I believe this version, like the Coleco, is missing one level. It's called the Pie Factory. So compared to the Coleco version, you wouldn't say, oh, I'm going to get a Coleco vision because Donkey Kong's better. Atari Soft did do some ColecoVision games. I don't know if they did Asteroids. I'll have to check that. I will have another go. I'm just enjoying my cola, if you don't mind. Now my mate who had an Atari, he had an Atari 800 with 48k in like 1982, early 83. Very expensive system. He used to drink Coca-Cola all the time, and he was really skinny actually. In fact, his diet, from what I could tell, consisted of not Snickers, what were they called before? Marathon, that was it. Marathon chocolate bars, which are now called Snickers. Smelly Knickers, as I like to call them. Didn't like the name change, didn't appreciate that. And you know, red cans of cola, not Diet Coke. Although I think he did switch to Diet Coke a bit later, but back then I would never have drunk Diet Coke because I was very suspicious about sweetness in you know, in my diet. I didn't want them. So, you know, I never got diabetes from that. You get diabetes from fish and chips and kebab, not from whether you have regular or full sugar Coke. Yeah, we're getting off the subject a bit here. Let's have another go. But yeah, again, you know, urban myth would say you're not going to have fun playing this game. Oh nah, see, I do get stuck on the ladders. I don't think that's because I'm using a regular joystick. Let's just so you know which one it is. It's this one. There you go. Can't really see it, but oh, wasted a life there. Might as well start again. There we go. I don't think the joypads I've got are in better condition than this joystick, so there's that. See? Now what am I doing? You wouldn't have been unhappy with an Atari 7800 when they first come out if Warner, and I don't mean David Warner from Tron, aka Mr. Dillinger. No. So, where did that one come from? That's really fun. It's a really fun version of Donkey Kong, and I played Donkey Kong a hell of a lot in the arcades as a kid. I loved it. Donkey Kong and Popeye are my two favourite Nintendo games of all time. Doesn't matter how far forward you go in time, it's not best 8-bit ones, it is best ones ever for me. So it's really better to do it the first time round actually. Ooh. Yeah, I don't think time is an issue as such. And it wouldn't have been back then for me either, because I played the arcade game all the time. So it doesn't matter which way you go really. Just have to go. It is always tight even on the arcade, so that's fine. I never liked this level. The first two levels we've just seen, which are not in order, depending actually whether you play the American or the Japanese release of the arcade. But this is how it was on the Coleco anyway. Oh no, that's a bit of a problem actually. Oh, actually that is a... Oh no. Oh no. We're in real trouble now. Is that a safe point? No, it's not a safe point. You Wally. Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun playing on the Atari 7800, and yeah, you know, some people might say Atari 7800 rubbish. Don't listen to them, mate. Really don't listen to them. If you want to buy an Atari 7800, just buy one. You know, don't. If you're collecting Atari consoles and you're, well, I'd say from Europe, but definitely if you're from the UK like me, then you have to have a 7800 if you love Atari. You need to have an Atari home computer, and you need to have a 2600 and or a 7800, because you can play 2600 games on here. I prefer the video output quality. Alright, that did not work too well. Well, I'm wondering if that's an NTSC PAL issue there. Could well be. I mean, the screen is actually kind of shrunk, should be stretched. That's how I play Pac-Man. I'm not the world's best Pac-Man player at all. Very weird. Actually, I'll have to try the cartridge again a bit later, but the game is working fine. I'll basically cheat. I'll just like get all the dots using the power pellets. I ignore all the bonus fruit and everything. Oh no, they're cornering me here. Ah, I hesitated. Well, the graphics of the cherries are really nice there actually. I quite like them. Oh no, 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 no. There we go. So I'm just going to go for maximum eating via each power pellet, I suppose. Should really clear the area where you're trying to magic. So again, so far we've had a very enjoyable game of Asteroids for free, Galaxian, no sorry, Galaga, Donkey Kong, and now Miss Pac-Man. If you like these games, if you liked playing them in the arcade, you'll like playing them on the 7800 now. Obviously it's not the same as playing the arcade, but it never was back then either, so you know, that's not really how did I end up using all of them? That's terrible. I'm not very good at Pac-Man. I don't have a strategy at all. So it's a bit of a shame that I didn't actually buy more Atari 7800 games. It's a real shame actually, because they're quite expensive now. Now I had Impossible Mission on my Commodore 64 back then. We couldn't afford an Atari. I actually wanted an Atari 800, but yeah, my dad couldn't really afford that, so. But the Atari 800 and Pac-Man or Ms. Pac-Man circa 1982 was actually the first home computer I played on. I had, I wouldn't say a friend, he was kind of up himself. They were quite a posh family. But he did allow me to go around there once or twice. And he was a Canadian kid called Adam, and they had Atari 800. And I played some games, and I remember playing Pac-Man or Miss Pac-Man on there. I think it might have been just Pac-Man. So that's why I wanted an Atari 800 or even 400. But yeah, we ended up getting a VIC-20 for 200 quid. Because my dad also had to buy me, you know, a portable TV to use the computer. And I was only getting a computer because they were supposed to be educational. Which is a ploy that we all push to the maximum. Dad, my VIC-20 is not good enough for my maths homework. I need the Commodore 64. Is something I didn't say actually. There's a very good story about how I ended up with a Commodore 64 2 months after getting a VIC-20, and maybe I'll do that if we do 8-bit games for the VIC-20. Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking there. Perhaps someone snuck in some whiskey into my cola. I don't drink, so that's highly unlikely. So yeah, that's a bit weird with the old corruption at the bottom. I wonder if I've got an NTSC copy. Let's have a look at this. Does it say PAL? Now on the VCS cartridges they did used to say PAL on the side. I don't know if they still do that actually. Don't say PAL anywhere, or even the letter P or S for Seacom. Let's have a look on here. Yeah, there's no way of knowing. This might actually be an American version. I believe you'd be hard pressed to tell, because even in the UK all the boxes had you know, Atari Sunnyvale business on the address, So again, so you know, we're 4 out of 4 here, which is pretty good. I'm going to be a bit selective about what I play next. Oh, I have just realised. Oh, sadly, I only have the sealed copy of Donkey Kong Jr. I don't have an open boxed copy. I do have a loose copy somewhere. Yeah, if I was to break the seal on this, we'd have to do a completely separate video on it. I mean, you should do that. It's really nice condition. Of course, I won't be able to show that to you the way the camera's set up at the moment. But okay, so we're down to 3 more. I did have 2 copies of Donkey Kong, but I had to sell, and Donkey Kong Jr., but I had to sell the nicest ones that weren't sealed. I think eventually I did have to sell the sealed copy of Donkey Kong. So I really wasn't left with much. Actually, I had to buy all these back. I had to sell them first and then buy them back. So the next game we're going to be playing, hopefully, is Motor Psycho. So this has got copyright 1990 on it, I believe. Let's check that with some slightly more powerful reading glasses. Yeah, it is. This is 1990. Made in China, CX7852. Have to do the classic blow on the cartridge there. Yeah, it says copyright 1990 there as well, actually, so I can have the volume up a bit. Maybe it uses the other joystick port, that's a bit unusual. Or hang on, maybe one of the fire buttons is accelerate and one is brake on the joypad. We could be in for a bit of a problem here. I've never tested the other joystick port on this, so yeah, we're going to have to use a joypad for this game, which is a bit worrying actually. Perhaps sometime in the future we could do a hardware project where we wire up the fire buttons independently on this Euromax joystick I've got. Now these joypads may not have been used at all. I don't know how you change gear actually. It doesn't seem to be. Let's try that again anyway. I don't know if the other button's brake then. No, the other button is jump, is it? Yeah, it is. Now, on my joypads, I am lucky enough to have the little thumbstick adapter on it. Ooh, we just made the time there. Now, pole position 2 is on the Atari 7800. I do have a loose copy of that, I believe. I only remember playing Pole Position, the original, on the Atari 800 and the Commodore 64. My friend had it for his Atari. Well, this is a completely different friend. He was called Peter, who I met much later. I'd already had a Commodore 64 and VIC-20 for a couple of years. Ooh, wasting. Oh, we never made that. I must admit, I do like racing games, and this is a nice racing game. So, I believe I have the other one. Is it called Fatal Run? But I believe this is technically better. So I must admit, a summer afternoon playing Atari, it's actually turned out to be a genius idea by me. I let them overtake me, so I didn't want to hear their engines. Not sure why 3 wheels are coming out there in the explosion. I checked that, it did look like 3 wheels to me. Well, there was only 2 there. I'll have to look back there on the video. It is like Hang On. You have to say it is like Hang On. Yeah, I'm not very good at this game, I have to say. Unfortunately, you can't change gear while it's doing that. Let's check out another course anyway. Right, here we go. Let's try that one. I'll definitely be playing this again like all the others. So we're 5 out of 5 at the moment. Now when I used to play Lotus 2, was it Lotus 2 or is it Continental Circus? I would change gear when it came to like the corners. Definitely used to do that on Outrun the arcade. No. There's a lot of time gain on there. Yeah, my advice would be, if you're on a budget, buy yourself a working Atari 7800 with some joypads in good condition, and then just get some sort of SD card based solution for the gaming. It's more important to play these games on real hardware for me. I accidentally changed gear, no. to play them on real hardware with the real controls on a CRT TV than to have like loads of cartridges and then have to play them on an LCD TV. These games are meant to be played on a large CRT TV. I mean, LCD TVs, the speakers are terrible. They're like those rubbish cassette recorders people used to load the, you know, BBC Micro and Spectrum games off of. Yeah, the other fire button is to jump, I have to say. Again, I'm not really looking at the screen at the top there. Now, if my 7800 was modded so I could use composite video, I'd use it on the monitor and then stretch the screen vertically. I'm not really sure why I was jumping constantly there, because I wasn't pressing that button. No, it's not doing it now. Let's check out this one as well. Just a quick go. Yeah, well, I don't think that's gonna. Let's do that one again. Just pressing the wrong button. The joypads are actually quite small for my adult hands, I must admit. I am over 6 foot tall. Yeah, there was 3 wheels there, but I might have crashed into someone else because it looked like 2 handlebars. So. See, there was a game called Super Cycle on the Commodore 64, but that didn't have, like, you know, the hills and the dips. This is more like Lotus Turbo Challenge on the Atari ST in terms of the way the road is drawn. No, and we're out of time anyway, so I did enjoy that, I must admit. So we're doing well. Let's put that one safely back in the box. So yeah, I mean, modifying mine to have composite video, I think that'd be a good idea, because I've got more monitors than TVs, many more actually, and on the TVs you can't really adjust certain things. So got 2 more games left, and the camera is gonna hit the 59-minute 59-second thing, so I'll just stop the camera and restart it. So we've got Midnight Mutants and Desert Falcon. So now sadly there's damage to the front of the box. Seems like someone's taken a Stanley knife to this, but hopefully the game will work. Yeah. So Let's try it with the old Euromax joystick first. There we go. So the joypads, they are in almost, well, they're low mileage, just put it that way. They're in low mileage condition. They're in mint condition physically. The joystick, actually going into the joystick port there, that's very, there's no marks on it, and it's quite a tight fit. So there's a lot of interference going on there with the graphics. The graphics are really nice actually, I do like them. Nah, I'm not very good at the game though. We've got to get 3 hieroglyphics, so I love isometric games. That possibly is a hieroglyphic. So I don't know what the other ones are. The golden ones. That was a close call, that was. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Panther, which is a game I had on my Commodore 64. This is your Zaxxon baddie. I wonder if Sega had something to say about this. I'm guessing you have to shoot the head there. Yeah. So I don't know what the other things are. So it's forward to hop about. Quite realistic how they've done that. I presume we can go in the water, yeah. Is there a time limit or something there? Or maybe that's just like a bonus thing. I do like the colours on this level. Does remind me of Dusk. Yeah, no. Yeah, this is really nice actually. Loads of stuff going on screen there. Plenty of sprites. Nah, gotta be careful with that. Even if you touch them even while you're on the ground. So you just have to follow your shots really. So I wonder why there's so much interference going on there actually. Wonder what the expert level is like then. Very smooth. Look how fast and smooth that is. The Atari 7800 is very underrated, I feel. Now I seem to remember finding some other games, cassette games, and finding a few cartridges in there, in some of the storage boxes. I think one of them was for the Atari 7800, I believe. That's not to say it isn't a game we've already played, but if I find that, then we can make it 8-bit games, which would be nice. Oh no. but definitely more challenging. Yeah, that's a great game. That's another one that you should definitely check out for your Atari. So, game number 7. Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't really want to open Donkey Kong Jr. because I know I have a copy, a loose copy, for the 7800, and it's really, if it was already opened, yeah, but you know, if I was to break the seal on that, I'll definitely do a separate video. I think you should do that, really. That's my personal opinion on the subject. I mean, I'm not saying that you shouldn't open it, I'm just saying, really, you should definitely. Oh look, there is a P on the back of this cartridge. What would Miss Pac-Man? Let's see if there's a P for PAL on the back of this one. No, there isn't. So, and this one's also got a colour label. Yeah, so Midnight Mutants. That's a bit of a squeeze. So yeah, I mean, definitely you got to think about doing some sort of composite video mod, if not S video. I don't even know if that's possible. Okay, we might need the joypad for this one as well. So. I believe I have a copy of Commando, Impossible Mission, Super Huey. There was some sort of game similar to Asteroids which came out after, that you bought separately on cartridge. Very smooth scrolling. I should probably read the instructions, but we'll have a go, see. I thought you could shoot stuff. Get the knife first. It can be found in the west of the mansion. You are helpless. Alright, okay. I don't know where the mansion is. We are heading west, so. Am I supposed to, with persistence, you can become powerful enough to destroy this instant. I definitely have to read the instructions on this. I certainly wasn't expecting a game like this. An isometric arcade adventure. I don't know how you get away from the dog, actually. The old double dragon waggling the joystick don't really work, so. Yeah, that's definitely one I'll have to come back to, because you definitely need to read the manual for that. Luckily I have a boxed copy, but I haven't checked if there's a manual in here. Let's have a quick look. No, there is no manual in here, so even if I wanted to, really, I can't really do anything about that right now. That's definitely one to play again in the future. Let's go and have a quick look, see if I can find that loose game. Unfortunately, the universe is against us today, my friends. I did find some loose cartridges, but none of them were Atari 7800, so sadly it's not 8-bit games just yet. Obviously, if I don't find a copy of Donkey Kong Jr. loose, or another, boxed copy that's already open, then I will obviously open this, but we'll do a video for that separately. So yeah, I mean, I have to say, let's have a go of asteroids with the joypad. It's been a thoroughly enjoyable summer afternoon playing Atari 7800, I have to say, even with just a limited number of games. There isn't a single game that I didn't like. Midnight Mutants, I really need to read the instructions online or something. It looks really interesting, actually. Might have to watch another review on it just to get an idea. Now, if I was going to do a game for a computer, then I'd look up a magazine review of a good magazine, and they'll usually tell you the scene and what you're supposed to do in general, not just review the game. So I'm wondering if this is a re-release Atari 7800 console, because it does say 1989 and this is the built-in game. So I believe the original 7800 came with the Pro Line joysticks, and the version that came with the joypads did come later. Yeah, I do really like this, actually. It's as much fun as playing Megaroids on your Atari ST, and more colourful. And the meteors, planets, asteroids, everything, whatever you want to call them. They're animated smoothly and consistently. So yeah, I mean, I had a lot of fun, actually. Bit of a trying start to this idea. Getting the hardware working, and obviously only a limited number of my Atari 7800 games are available right now, so I still have a lot of work to do in my house. So it will be a nice house when it's finished, and there'll be plenty of room for like many TVs, monitors, and very good selection of 8 and 16-bit computers and consoles to play, whenever I feel like it. So yeah, I mean, we played Atari, we had a bit of Coca-Cola. What else could you want from a summer, I ask you? I think the 7800 is underrated, and I don't mean by the people who actually you know, follow the 7800. I'm talking the retro community in general. I mean, people are going to say to you, well, you know, there's the iconic VCS and ColecoVision. And then, you know, you'll talk about the later consoles like the Sega Master System or the Nintendo NES, you know, SG, SG 1000, and then the Mark II, and then the Mark III for the Japanese market of the Sega. The SG 1000 is pretty much a ColecoVision kind of thing, and the Famicom in Japan, obviously. But yeah, I quite like the Atari. I mean, I think you're going to have a problem if you have joypads that are very worn and you have to play a game with a joypad. I don't know what a solution there is. I don't believe, you know, a Mega Drive or a Master System joypad, the extra buttons, I don't think they do anything, because I remember trying the Atari joypads on my Master System, because the joypads that came with the Sega Master System were in terrible condition. They didn't work. You know, the second button, that wasn't happening. So yeah, it could be a bit tricky, I suppose. Does that mean the Proline joystick buttons are wired up differently? They seem to work on my friend's Atari 800. Both the fire buttons seem to do the same thing. But yeah, that'd be quite difficult to find either of those in good condition. But no, I think definitely you do want to actually locate an Atari 7800. I think it's a nice system to have. It's really nostalgic. Even if you didn't have it, you'll get a sense of, you know, good 8-bit gaming, innocent 8-bit gaming fun, I suppose. Well, from the selection of games we had, I cannot vouch for every Atari 7800 game that came out.